You just
That
don't
is
like
what it is.
religion, and you're mad that a religious person won a Supreme Court case against corporations, by the way, as a worker against corporations, which you should be celebrating
No, why
as
should I
the
celebrate
communist that
this?
you are.
No. I made a video the other day about Groff versus Dejoy.
You
Uh,
did.
it was a midweek stream. I was just testing out the whole kick thing. But um, what do you think about it? What thoughts did I not have? What did I get wrong? All that fun stuff.
Well, it was really strange, actually, to watch a win for a worker's rights and see you siding with the corporate people. That was weird.
Well, probably because it's religious. Um,
Probably because you hate religion. Yeah.
I do very much dislike religion,
Oh.
and I don't have a feeling this is going to get sent to all of the religions. Tell me what you think, and then I will tell you what the reason I'm not gonna like it, or I don't
Well,
like this.
well, for that, I gotta ask, why do you think? I mean, I know you that it's like a conservative-leaning Supreme Court, as it's called. Uh, why do you think it was unanimous?
Because they're
Why do
all
you think the other
Catholics.
three?
They're all Catholics. If I remember correctly, the entire Supreme Court is Catholic. If I remember correctly,
Six of them are.
6 of them are Catholics. So uh, I have a feeling that that has to do with it, and I don't respect religion. They're trying to. I think that the left leaning people, or the correct leaning people, that's what I'm going to call
Oh, okay.
them.
And which three are those again?
Um, the most leftist of them, so like Sotomayor, the Elena Kagan, and Jackson. I don't know if those three I don't remember which ones are Catholic. Most of them are Catholic,
Well,
regardless.
only of those three, Sotomayor is the only Catholic.
Okay.
So why'd the other two vote or why did the other two decide in favor then? Why was it unanimous?
Because they were probably wrong about something. They can be wrong and left.
Do you think maybe, just maybe, the guy had a case?
I think he has a case, and I think that our American sensibilities are going to be wrong about this.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Uh,
So we shouldn't make religious accommodations for people.
we should make them personally within the thing and not mandated by law. I have worked with people who have asked not to work on Sundays before. I have literally made work schedules for people who were asking not to work on Sundays.
Yes, and that's more than what the USPS did.
If I remember correctly, from the way I heard it, he asked not to work on Sundays and he didn't most of the time. They had one guy out on vacation, one guy out sick, and they said, "Hey, can you work this shift?" And he said no, and then they punished him for it. Which
Not quite.
is that not how it went down?
No. So, USPS basically, he started working with them the year before they contracted with Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, contracting with Amazon means that you have a lot more volume,
Mm-hmm.
which then requires people to work more hours, or you with more
Mm-hmm.
volume comes more work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, he was like, "Hey, I'll take the job, but I don't work Sundays. I'm, religious, I'm Catholic, or whatever it was that he is, Mormon or something." And they still hired him, and then they basically, once they contracted with Amazon, they were scheduling him for a bunch of Sundays, and he was like, "Can't do that," and they were like, "All right, well, find somebody else to take your shift." That's so you did more in your circumstance, making accommodations for a person to
Mm-hmm.
not work Sundays
Mm-hmm.
than the U.S. Postal Service did. So, do you think that the U.S. Postal Service shouldn't have had to reasonably accommodate the guy by not scheduling for him for Sunday?
I think that they should have worked with him on it, and if they don't have enough people to do so, um, then work with him. And if he doesn't like it, then he can leave. But I don't know if that's. But that's the only. I think that is the. I think putting this into law is about
Well,
to explode.
it's a part of our
It's
Constitution,
it's
actually.
about to explode.
It's been there for 250 years.
And the Supreme Court has just increased the ability of these people to sue about it. And so we're going to get a shitload of these suits.
Or maybe the Supreme Court has properly interpreted the Constitution that has been there the whole time,
Then that
and
part of the Constitution is wrong.
those suits
If
should
it's
always have been there.
those suits have always been there, is about to explode. We're about to get hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of these things. Did you see the hypothetical I made in the last video?
I don't remember it.
Okay. Even let's imagine you're an employer and you agree with Groff. You completely agree with him. You do not have enough workers to fill the slots on Sunday. The basic answer to that is to hire someone that will work on Sundays. Yes? I need work. There's a demand for work, and I don't have enough labor. Hire more labor.
Well, what I'm hearing is I need more hours to be worked, right?
Right. You need hours to be worked, and you do not have
So,
enough labor for it. So you need to hire
and I
someone
don't
who
have
can.
enough labor. Well,
Hire one.
what if I just hired more?
Mm-hmm. Hire someone. Hire
Hire
more.
somebody else.
Hire somebody else. Is that an acceptable
You might.
answer to you? Is that an acceptable thing that that business would do? Because I think that it
Sure.
is. I'm saying that that's fine. You don't have enough work being done. All your workers are at max already. Even Groff, who's knocking out 6 days a week, great. You need
You
more
need more
work
people.
done. You need more people. When you interview the people, are you going to ask them, will you work on Sunday? Of course you will. Because
Sure.
that's
I
what
mean, you
you
can.
need. So if you need somebody to work on Sunday, you ask them, will you work on Sunday? If you need someone to cut the lawn, you will ask them about their lawn cutting experience. If you need someone to write code, you will ask them about their code writing experience. If you need someone to work
Sure.
on Sunday, you will ask them
But
to work on
all
Sunday.
jobs all jobs already do that.
Great.
They
And
already
if they
ask you like what days you want to work, what's your availability,
uh-huh.
et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, they're looking
And
for
if
people that
he
can
says
fill the spots that
no,
are available. Well, he
great.
was
You're
already hired.
No, 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 no. The new guy, the second
Oh,
person. Groff works. Groff is there. Groff is happily and gainfully employed 6 days a week. He's doing a bang up job. He refuses to work Sunday for his religious things. You agree with him. You're on board. You're going
mm-hmm.
to hire somebody who works on Sunday. If you ask that
Yeah.
person, so we're going to name him Bill. All right, you're interviewing Bill. You need that Sunday slot filled. You ask Bill if he will work on Sundays, and he says no. What happens?
He doesn't get hired.
you he doesn't get hired. You're right. He doesn't get
If
hired.
I
Now you've
specifically need somebody to work
discriminated.
Sunday and he says no
You've
Sundays,
you've
then
just
no,
discriminated
I
against
can't
his
hire him.
religion. You've just discriminated against his religion. You just did it. He said, I will not work Sundays, and you said, no, you cannot work here. For that reason, you discriminated against his religion. And he didn't
Sure,
get that
but
job because of that religious discrimination. This is what's about to happen to every business, everywhere, a lot.
no, because see, there's the standard is that you must make these reasonable accommodations for religion as long as it doesn't have a substantial impact to your bottom line. This de minimis thing that you're
They
highlighting,
increased the
right?
threshold. They increased the threshold. Or actually, they lowered the threshold. Yeah. And so Bill has just gone through an interview with you. He has all of the right skills and abilities, but says no to the working on Sundays question. And if you,
Okay.
so you now do not hire Bill. Bill will sue
So then the
you. Bill
question
will
is,
sue you for discriminating against his religion.
well, he would have to know that I'm doing it for that reason, number one. And
They'll, mhm.
secondly, it would be what's the word? Remiss to not take a look at what we can do schedule wise if we just have an extra person who is available 6 days out of the week. What about, can I take one of my other workers who is willing to work Sundays and schedule them for Sundays and then take them off of one of my weekday shifts?
That's a reasonable
Right.
thing
You still need
that you
more
can.
people.
You
Like
that's a
the problem is you have too few people and too many hours to work
right. You
within the
still have
time
that
slots
problem.
people are willing to.
Okay, so you still
So
have the problem. So you still have to hire more people.
yeah, you still have to hire more people. I mean,
If
yes, that's a
if
fact.
if there are people who will work 7 days a week and there are people who work 6 days a week, one of them is better for the business, and that will lead the business to discriminate
That's
against the
I
six
get it,
sevens instead of the seven
and
sevens.
we already do that.
I know they
Every
already do
business
that.
already does that. I don't think that there are any lawsuits coming from that. It's once you are part of a business
Hmm.
and you've already told them, "Hey, I don't do this," right? And then they fail to make a reasonable accommodation for that,
Hmm.
they've violated the law. And the
Right.
Supreme Court agrees that they have violated the law with all nine with a unanimous
Right.
decision.
Because they have to set. There has to be a threshold setting. I think the threshold setting existed, and this 9-0 Supreme Court said that the threshold was in the wrong place, and they've changed that threshold. You're right that it has always existed, and the threshold was undue hardship, but they have changed that threshold to the de minimis, right?
So, right,
They have moved the bars. That's all they've done. I wouldn't. I'm not saying that they created a new thing. I'm saying that they have moved those bars, and because they've moved those bars, more people are going to sue. Uh, Christians are going to sue lots of companies. And in a very angsty atheist way, I'm going to suggest to you that uh, Muslims won't get this consideration. Jews won't. Sikhs
oh,
won't.
they certainly do get that
No, they
consideration. Yes, they
won't
do.
get
Yeah,
it because this is uh, because we are a Christian country and they have more rights. I think that the suits that I'm talking about, are going to come from Christians and they're going to be accepted. And then the exact same suit is going to come from a Muslim and it's going to get shot down. In group, out group is what I'm suggesting. Christians are the in group, they're going to get extra rights. Muslims are the out group, they're not going to get those same rights.
I
Even
know
though it
for
is
a
a
fact
sincerely
that you are
held.
wrong.
Other things during like prayers and stuff like that before schools and before football games and stuff like that, and opening prayers before a city council meeting, because I watch it and read a whole ton of atheist literature. The non-Christians don't get the same considerations.
They do. And by the way, I know for a fact that you're wrong about this
Okay.
because, um, well, first of all, the United States Postal Service is a government institution,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So my experience with other government institutions is yes, we do make absolutely reasonable accommodations for all religions.
Mhm.
So, for
Reasonable
example,
accommodations, yes. Accommodations
yes.
are
So,
made.
yeah, of course they are. So
They're already
for
made.
example, um, a Muslim person who works for the government, for example, um, if you work on a government facility, a lot of times um, the food is served at very specific times.
Mhm.
Well, during Ramadan, Muslims are not allowed to eat
Mhm.
during daylight hours.
Mhm.
So that often, uh, what's the word? Prevents them from eating during the government standardized food times,
Meal times. Dig it.
meal times. Yeah. So what do? Well, we accommodate them. We maybe
Mhm.
provide them with a refrigerator, and uh, we have food prepared at the meal facilities and bring the meal over to them and put it in the
Mhm.
fridge so they can heat it up and
Mhm.
provide maybe instead of or maybe we provide them with like you know certain privileges and whatnot so that they can go and they can observe their religious practice
Mhm.
It's a lot of extra work,
My
but
I've been in
it's a
plenty of
reasonable
workplaces, yeah, with a
accommodation.
prayer room. You know, there's a rug facing the right way, and there's a prayer room set aside in a quiet corner where uh, they can do that. That is an accommodation that already exists and is acceptable.
Okay, and if we failed to provide that accommodation, then or if anyone failed to provide that accommodation, they would rightfully be sued, and probably the Muslim would win the lawsuit in that case.
I don't know. I have a funny feeling it's not going to trickle down to them.
I have
Um,
a funny feeling that the Muslim would win the lawsuit, and I bet you if we
are
Googled it up,
uh
we'd probably find some examples.
Does this not make it easier to sue under for these things?
Does it make it easier to sue for these things?
Of course it does.
Maybe,
And if it's easier to sue for these things, there will be more of those lawsuits.
which I
There
don't
are
see as
many
a
of
bad
these
thing.
lawsuits coming, and it's going to cause chaos a little bit. It's going to cause some chaos because there's going to be all kinds of people suing for all kinds of reasons. And by lowering the threshold required to do the suit, more suits are going to happen. And when those suits are decided, I think that it will be Christians who benefit the most and the others who get token or a little bit or dismissed. But that is the angsty, angry atheist in me that's saying that.
Definitely sounds not within reality, but okay.
What, that Christians get special treatment?
Yeah, that
That's entirely
lawsuits
within
that come about
reality.
as a result of failure to reasonably accommodate would 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 be dismissed for Muslim or Jewish people on the basis that they're not Christians that are making the lawsuits. It's
Well, no,
ridiculous.
that's not the reason they tell you. It's not the reason the judge would dismiss it. They would dismiss it because they don't think that it is a an acceptable religious choice. They're not part of the in group. The law is to protect the in group and bind the out group, and they're the out group.
If that was the case, then nobody would make the reasonable accommodations anyway. But they do because they
because they're
know that they can and will be sued and lose if they
because it
fail to make the
because it
reasonable
wasn't an
accommodations.
undue hardship. It was a hardship, but it was okay. This is a wokeism, honestly. When a company says "se habla español," this is a virtue signal that we can, in fact, speak Spanish and talk to you if you speak Spanish. If a company says, yes, we have prayer room set aside with a prayer mat facing the right direction, and you can have time off for that, this is a benefit that the company is trying to give to people to hire them. This is to make themselves look good and awesome. It is a virtue signal. Um, if religious people start suing those companies and try to do less or be a 6-7 instead of a 7-7, that will cause the company to look at them and discriminate them.
I don't think so because the number of people that are a 6-7 in
Mm-hmm.
the first place is phenomenally low. Um, a lot of people have circumstances where they can't be working 6 out of 7 days. Maybe they have their kid because they've been divorced and they have their kid on
Different
Wednesdays and
situation.
Thursdays,
Different
right?
situation.
Everybody's
And
situation is a little different,
right.
right?
And that is a real reason. And again, I'm being an angsty atheist. Your child
Uh-huh.
needing to be picked up from school is reality. Your magic spells on Sunday are not reality. And I'm
That's
being
just
very
like your
hateful.
opinion, man.
I know. I'm being very angry about it. I'm being very angsty about it. But your children needing things from you is reality. Magic spells on Sunday are not reality. So I don't respect them.
Hey, I like the standard work week. The next job I apply to is only going to be for Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, so if a job chooses not to hire me, that's fine.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'd probably be their best worker if they hired me. So it
Right.
is what it is. I mean,
And is
yeah,
that
you
is
put it on
reality
your
stuff.
application.
If you say I expect to work 40 hours a week, that's a real thing. If you're saying I won't work on Tuesdays because of leprechauns, I don't respect it. If you don't work Tuesdays because you have something important to do with your children, or you have to be at uh, I mean, like an army reservist or some shit, that's fantastic. I'm an army reservist. I cannot work this day because I'm doing army reserve drill and training and stuff like that. That's real and important. Not working on a Tuesday because of a leprechaun, I don't respect it.
Okay. So now I'll pose another question to you then.
Hmm.
Let's say that I'm an Army reservist and
Hmm.
my drills are on Tuesdays,
Okay.
and I tell the company, "Hey, I'm not available on Tuesdays. You
Okay.
can't have me come in." And the company repeatedly then schedules me to come in on Tuesdays.
Then
Should I be able to sue them after they fire me for not showing up on Tuesdays?
yes, because Army Reserve drill is real.
Okay. All right. So it is a factor. The problem that you have here is not a
Yes,
question of when the worker is willing to work. It's a question of you just don't like religion.
and
Okay.
it probably comes back down to that. Yes,
Yeah,
uh,
that is what it is. You just
that
don't
is what
like
it is.
religion, and you're mad that a religious person won a Supreme Court case against corporations, by the way, as a worker against corporations, which you should be celebrating
No, why
as
should I
the
celebrate
communist that
this?
you are.
No, why should I celebrate this? This will lead to more and more religious power within the country. This will lead to more religious power. This is an increase in religion's power because now they have standing
I
to
think
sue
that's fine.
for religious reasons.
Well, they always have had standing. They maybe have precedent on their side now.
Um, so yes, that's what
Standing
irritates
is
me.
just if you were the affected party in a negative uh, action by another party, you have standing.
Did we just figure that out that I my atheism trumps my
Yeah,
communism?
your atheism trumps your
It's higher
communism.
than my
It's
communism.
incredible.
Okay, great. So we've straightened that out within my brain, and now the entire internet can know. USPS is a federal corporation. Oh hi! Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, press the subscribe button. Uh, if you want to tell me how right I am, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, leave a comment too. That's good. Um, this is just kind of a hobby for me, so I appreciate you coming by, giving it a watch, and pressing the YouTube buttons. Thanks.